Right then guys, how's it going and welcome back to your Premier League predictions. Thank you to everyone who got involved last week. Those were my predictions from the weekend up there. It was a tough week. Manchester United getting beat by Liverpool 5-0. No one predicted that. Chelsea beating Norwich 7-0. No one predicted that. Someone got close. Ivan predicted 8-0, but still, no one actually got it right. Watford beating Everton 5-2. Safe to say it was a tough week for predictions. I actually won this week. Well, I say won, I came joint first with a lot of other people. I got 2 correct scores. I got the Newcastle and Crystal Palace would draw 1-1, and I got that Leeds and Wolves would draw 1-1 as well. So as I say, thanks to everyone who got involved last week. Loads of comments, and as I say, loads of people got 2 correct scores. So the winners are, and I'm just going to flood the screen right now with them: Andy, Billy, Sparta, Saif, Manish, Oscar, Asian, Chris and Gary. Well done to everyone on the screen right now. You got the 2 correct scores, which was, as I say, joint winners with me for last week's predictions. And remember, if you want to be shouted out in my next predictions video, be sure to get your predictions down below in the comments for this weekend's Premier League games. But as always, we will go through those games now. Start things off on the Saturday, 12:30 on BT Sport. We have got Leicester taking on Arsenal. So 2 teams here who have actually had a pretty slow start to the season, but have both kind of started to regain some wins and some points for themselves. Leicester have won their last 2 games in a row, and that includes the win against Brentford at the weekend. And Arsenal are actually now undefeated in their last 6 Premier League games, which includes the win against Aston Villa at the weekend. So it could well be a tight one, this, and I have just edged it to the home side. I have gone 2-1 Leicester, but again, I think both teams, although they have been picking up the form recently, have also had a few poor performances in them this season, so it could go either way. But I've backed Leicester there. Moving on to the 3 o'clock games now. Starting things off with Burnley taking on Brentford. Burnley, sitting in 18th place, is still one of 3 teams who are yet to get their first Premier League win. But a draw against Southampton at the weekend, 2-2. I think is a good point. The fact that they managed to get 2 goals in the back of the net. I mean, it's not often you score twice and still lose. So they are showing certain signs of improvement there. Taking on a Brentford side who are sitting in 12th. And as we all know, are the promoted side who are having a really good start of the season. Having said that, they have lost their last 2 games. And I mentioned it already, they lost against Leicester at the weekend. So, in terms of a prediction, can Burnley get their first win of the season? I've backed Brentford 1-0. Again, Burnley are the home side. We saw how they could get a few goals in the last game, so I'm not writing them off, but I had to pick a winner, and I went for Brentford in that one. Moving on, still 3 o'clock kickoff, we have got Liverpool taking on Brighton. Liverpool sitting in 2nd, Brighton sitting 5th. Fantastic start for them, and I mean, talking about fantastic starts, Liverpool are the only side in the Premier League yet to lose, so they're the only side who haven't lost yet, and we saw the 5-0 win against Manchester United at the weekend. Mo Salah, wow. I mean, there's not much more I can say for that. I forgot to do my fantasy team at the weekend. Thankfully, I forgot to change the captain, and Salah was still captain, so I got loads of points from that. Taking on a Brighton side who, as I say, have had a really good start. They have not lost, they hadn't lost in their last 5 Premier League games until they lost against Manchester City at the weekend, which was obviously going to be a tough game. I felt like they held their own in that game in spells, but generally it was a good performance by Manchester City. And I've had to back Liverpool. I've gone 3-1 Liverpool. I think Brighton will definitely give a good account of themselves in this game, but Liverpool look amazing at the moment, so I've got to back them. Moving on to the next 3 o'clock game, we have got Manchester City taking on Crystal Palace. So Man City currently sitting in 3rd place. As I've literally just mentioned, they beat Brighton at the weekend 4-1. Very professional performance from them. They got the job done. Foden put the ball in the back of the net twice. Grealish looked good. It was actually a really good battle between Grealish and the Brighton fullback Lamptey. So, good game for them. Good 3 points for them. Taking on Crystal Palace, who are sitting in 15th. Who have actually drawn their last 4 games. So, can they try and get a draw against Man City this weekend? I think it'll be tough, but I think Vieira has done a really good job with this side, and they drew 1-1 against Newcastle at the weekend, and I was there. If you've not seen my vlog, be sure to go and check it out on the channel. Newcastle did really well to take a point home, to be honest. Benteke hit the post, he hit the crossbar, he missed a really close-by shot, and then he also had a goal ruled out for VAR. Benteke could have had a hat-trick on a different day. Maybe he should have done better and should have put the ball in the back of their net more than the once or twice if you include the disallowed goal. But this is the thing with Crystal Palace. They have been having the performances. Vieira has spoken about this. They've been playing well, but not taking away the points. But at the end of the day, it's the points that keep you in the league or get you up the league. So anyway, prediction time. I've got Manchester City 2-0. Again, you know, I think they are the better side, and although Crystal Palace have looked good, they've mainly looked good in their home games. They are away, and again, Man City are brilliant, so I've got to back it that way. Moving on again, 3 o'clock kickoff, we've got Newcastle taking on Chelsea, so unfortunately, as a Newcastle fan, Newcastle are another of the 3 sides in the league still to win a game. We've seen Steve Bruce leave. Graham Jones was in as caretaker manager for the game against Crystal Palace at the weekend, and as I say, Crystal Palace were the better side for the large majority of that game. Thankfully, Callum Wilson stuck in an overhead kick from a set piece. Newcastle don't normally do well at set pieces, so he really saved the point there. Taking on a Chelsea side who, again, as I've mentioned, are top of the league and have just beaten Norwich 7-0. And it looks like Lukaku could well be fit for the weekend as well. So if Newcastle didn't have a tough enough game, Lukaku being back will certainly make it even tougher. And again, as a Newcastle fan, I always hope for the best, but I also expect the worst. And I've gone 2-0 to Chelsea there. Moving on to the final 3 o'clock kickoff this weekend, we have got Watford taking on Southampton. So Watford, I mean, Ranieri comes in. He loses 5-0, and then he wins 5-2 in his second game. So it's fair to say he's had an interesting start as the Watford manager. 5-2 against Everton, what a cracking result that is. Against an Everton side who, to be fair, have looked decent so far this season. If suddenly, well, I mean, we'll get on to it for the Everton game, but a great win for Watford and Ranieri there. Taking on the Southampton side who, as I say, drew 2-2 in their game at the weekend. Southampton actually got their first win just the week before, so against Leeds. So, although Watford are the promoted side, I would say they are generally the team in better form right now. And again, with the new manager boost from Ranieri and what was a significant win for them at the weekend, I think that will push them on to have another good game this weekend. So I've backed them 2-1. Again, we saw it last week. The predictions have been really tough. And that's another one I could see going probably either way, to be honest. But that's the way I'm going to put it. Moving on to 5:30 on the Saturday on Sky, we have got Tottenham Hotspur taking on Manchester United. So again, Spurs sitting in 6th. Manchester United sitting in 7th. Up and down start for both teams. In the last 5, Spurs have won 2 but have lost 3. Losing against West Ham at the weekend. Again, that was a game people had their eyes on. I said it in my last prediction video because I actually did back West Ham. I actually backed them 2-1. I said that, you know, if Antonio's on the ball, he will score. And he did. And he scored the 1 goal of the game, which unfortunately made Spurs lose. Taking on Manchester United, who again, in their last 5, they've won 1, drawn 1 and lost 3. So these both sides have lost 3 of the last Premier League games, including their significant loss against Liverpool 5-0. Loads of questions on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I've been watching videos this morning where effectively it sounds like the board want to keep him on, but the fans obviously want him to go. Big questions over Ronaldo and whether he's doing enough to track back and stuff. I mean, that still makes me laugh, to be honest, because no way do you buy Ronaldo to do the defensive work. You buy him to score the goals. So you can't just turn around 8 games later and go, well, he should be doing more to help back. They knew what they were buying, and they can't just change their mind now. But what a lot of people are saying as well, and I do agree with, although Ronaldo is fantastic, he probably doesn't have that long left of his career. And if you want to make the most of him now, I think you need to have a different manager to do it. I mean, now is Bruce out? Hey, Bruce is free, actually. Do you want to... Maybe he could have a go. Anyway, prediction. I've been very, very boring, and I've gone 1-1. So, again, it's another one that could go either way. Spurs are at home. Manchester United haven't been great, but neither have Spurs really recently. Harry Kane's got 1 goal this season so far in 9 Premier League games, which is pretty crazy. So you have to let me know what you think about that one down below. Moving on to the Sunday now at 2 o'clock on Sky, we have got Norwich taking on Leeds. So I know we are very early in the season still, but you could be tempted to call this a 6-pointer, especially for a Norwich side who are the third of the 3 teams still to win in this Premier League season. Lost 7-0 against Chelsea, now at home against the Leeds side who are just outside of that relegation zone, drawing 1-1 against Wolves in their game at the weekend. And in fairness, it was Wong who got the goal for Wolves. It was a bit of a defensive all over the place. Gilhart, the Leeds player, fantastic run from him to get the Leeds penalty, and Rodrigo put it away for a 1-1. And I have backed Leeds. I've gone 1-0. I mean, again, Norwich are going to have to win sometime, aren't they? Surely. They're going to have to, surely. And they are at home. They've just taken a battering off Chelsea. I think this is a good chance for them to get 3 points, but at the same time, you don't just overnight go from losing 7-0 to being a great team. They are still the same team. They aren't that good. And Leeds are still a very decent side. Moving on to the next game on the Sunday, 4:30 on Sky, we have got Aston Villa taking on West Ham. So Aston Villa currently sitting in 13th place. They have been on a tough run recently, losing their last 3 games against Spurs, Wolves, and then Arsenal at the weekend. So not good recent form in the Premier League from them. Taking on a West Ham side who are back into the top 4. 4th place now, after, as I say, a great win for them, 1-0 at the weekend, Antonio getting the goal. I have backed West Ham 2-1. Again, it's not to say that Aston Villa don't have the players to do it. I think Danny Ings is a great striker, and when he can get in the right positions and can get the ball, they can score goals. But I think Antonio is very good as well, and the other team on better form at the moment. And then moving on to the final game of the weekend. Well, it's Monday night, it's at 8 o'clock and it's on Sky, and it is Wolves taking on Everton. So again, Wolves had a really tough start and effectively a poor start point-wise, but have definitely picked things up now, winning 3 of their last 4 games. And they drew against Leeds at the weekend, as I mentioned. So I think they'd won 3 in a row and then went and drew with Leeds at the weekend, which again, is... I wish Newcastle had done that. In their last 4 games, 3 wins and a draw. I'd take that all day long. Taking on Everton side, who, slightly the other way around, they had a good start, but have now fell off, obviously, by losing 5-2 against promoted side Watford at the weekend. It was always going to be hard for Rafa Benitez going to Everton because of his links with Liverpool, and whether I think a lot of Everton fans weren't particularly pleased about him going there for that reason, but he got off to a good start, maybe changed a couple of minds, but the problem is as soon as it goes wrong, it's going to hit you fast, and I feel like that's what the reaction has been following that game at the weekend. So, in terms of this one, in fairness, it's another one of those, it could really, I could see it going either way again. As I say, Wolves the better team in terms of recent form, but I do think that Everton are starting to, or had looked good. You know, they did have a poor game at the weekend, but again, maybe that'll spur them on to do even better this weekend. You know, we made a mistake, now we need to make up for it, and that's why I've gone Everton 2-1. So that is all of my predictions. I will put them up there. Remember, guys, get your predictions in for all of those games down in the comments. I will go through all of them before the first game kicks off on Saturday morning at 12:30, and I will shout out the winner in my next predictions video. So, as I say, get your predictions in before 12:30 on Saturday. I'll make a note of all of your scores, and as I say, we'll see who comes out on top with predictions. I haven't had a great start of the season, but the last few weeks I've done a little bit better. So we'll have to see how it goes. As always, thank you for watching. Be sure to look out for my other videos this week. I will be at the Newcastle-Chelsea game this weekend, so be sure to look out for the vlog. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Predictions down below. Subscribe if you are still watching 15 minutes later, because I know loads of you guys watch my videos but are still yet to subscribe. So if you are watching 15 minutes later and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.